Hey everybody, Asher here with even more Kerbal Space Program, where I have another ship that is called the Rescuer. I think after doing a quick survey of my current ship allotments that I have way too many things that are named the Rescuer at this point. And today's mission is just really to be getting into orbit so I can go ahead and build something to send to Duna, because this one is going to Duna. And if I can make this launch system work okay, I should have turned on SAS first. If I can make this launch system work okay, then I may possibly, maybe, be able to do the Grand Tour as well, which would be very exciting. Now, this video is recorded in 1.0.4, which is old news for a lot of you now, but it does come with something new, which are these little white panels here on the ship. Those are radiators, very important for dispersing heat. I have not had my own personal experiences yet with how heat works, how the dynamic works, but I have done a bit of reading on how reentry does work in the latest patch. And let me put it this way. The ships that I launched previously, they are going to have a tough time in the new atmosphere. In fact, I have a feeling if I try to do a similar air capture maneuver for like the Behemoth that I did before, I'd be in a lot of trouble. But that's where the radiators are supposed to come in. So like I said, we're just burning straight up. I did throw some big fuel tanks on top of this, so we'll see. We'll see kind of how this works. I'm hoping it does okay. Like I said, I'm delaying my gravity turn because these parts are really big. So if we can just go up a little bit more. This is asparagus staging. Once again, for those of you who don't know what it means, the outside rockets burn out of fuel before the middle ones do. And eventually it'll be just this one rocket pushing, hopefully, into orbit. So far this is performing better than my more recent test, but I have spent so much money on this. Let's go ahead and cut, turn. We're doing the old Kerbal Space Program of doing the gravity turn. That is a really aggressive gravity turn. I need to be careful. Because we don't want to just go into a ballistic trajectory, but on the other hand, I don't want my ship to run into itself as well. So we're tipping forward a bit. It's a bit of a calculated risk to not have a procedural fairing on the top here, but I have a feeling with the amount of thrust that I'm getting down here and the fact that I can control it with these wonderful little nozzle engines, we're not going to need it quite as much. But I'm not doing a full burn just yet because I want to get about 20,000 meters plus in the atmosphere. This would be around when now we're in full burn city, and hopefully I just do not want the front of my ship to tip down because we still are in the atmosphere. But apparently from 1.0.4, 20,000 meters is kind of your oh shit time in the atmosphere. Every atmosphere kind of has their threshold limit of when all the damage will start from things kind of running around, bumping into each other, heat, friction, all of that. And Kerbals is 20,000. Like I said, I have a feeling that a very aggressive air capture I did for Duna would now just result in the Behemoth snapping. But I guess this ship's going to find out because it does have a similar front plate to what I sent. Ooh, we are way over. Okay, I guess we're not way over. I'm a little mixed up because I did get a mission for another crew member, and I will be taking advantage of that eventually. But let's see, if we do this maneuver node here, and we get right about 100,000 to 100,000, yeah, I think I'm going to have enough fuel for this burn, considering the estimated burn is 34 seconds. I actually have to use RCS to tip this down because it's heavy. But obviously 34 seconds is not what we're going to need for the burn because these two engines are going to drop off. So I have a feeling it's going to be more along the lines of like 50-ish seconds or so. But this launch system is expensive, but this is a very, very heavy thing that I'm sending into space as well. And all I can hope is that this will work. It's a weird little jump there. But I'm just hoping this will work because I will have an opportunity to relaunch something to Duna between now and later. So that, like I said, that first mission that I sent to Duna a few episodes ago is now just a derelict fuelless space station on its way there. I'm hoping that, and part of the reason for that is because I had a pretty terrible exit system out of here, but the other thing is that I was able to refuel it, and even with the fuel that I had there, this was not enough to get to Duna with the weight I was trying to pull. So we're going to go ahead and probably start our burn at about the 40-second mark, just because you want to burn on equal sides of this. And we're going to be dropping to about a third of our impulse. But there's your big, expensive, the most expensive engines stock science can buy. So we'll see in a moment how this works, and we'll probably have to readjust the maneuver node accordingly, but still our orbital velocity is doing very good. This is a very, very healthy launch. So we'll go to about 40 seconds. I have a feeling that's not going to work out too great for me, but we can readjust. We need to turn off RCS. So all I want to do is just burn out these other engines. There we go. Go ahead and separate, and let's readjust. Where are we now? We're looking at a very large apoapsis, and we are looking at a burn that kind of needs to be going right now. Okay, well, we'll fix it. Because we do want to do about 100 by 100 here, so I think we can pretty much just turn this off and get as close as possible to a good orbit as we can. But it looks like I finally do have a launch system that is going to function correctly, which is pretty nice. And I do not have oxidizer up here because these things are different, and oh crap, if there's one thing I forgot to do, it's to actually assign the radiators and solar panels to action groups, so we'll just have to individually click all those in just a minute. Because you can do action groups once you get, I forget what exactly it is that unlocks action groups in career mode, because I'm just so used to having them from before. But if we go like this, we stay on our maneuver node just a little bit. I could be burning prograde pretty well. You'll notice our periapsis is going down just a little bit, but that's okay. What we want to do is right here, 105, 100, beautiful. And some fuel to spare, so pretty efficient for a launch. In fact, I'm not really going to need this before too long, so I can go ahead and probably dump it. But while we do that, we have the sun kind of in our backs. The one thing about dumping this right here, because I'm not going to need to make any other significant fuel things here, is now we just get to go ahead and extend the radiator, extend the solar panel. You'll see I have all the big things now. But because of the way these things are laid out, I have to kind of watch where I push them, or everything will be running into each other, including the RCS. So we want to go ahead and have these out. It's a little annoying that I'm going to have to click these on and off each time, but these radiators will be pretty important, because if you remember from before where we cooked some of the heat shields, that's not really going to be an issue. Now, is this actually going to work? Let's find out. Okay, these are not running into each other. That's very fortunate. Let's see if this runs into each other. Do these things have collision detection? I guess we're about to find out. I did build, in a previous build I had of this, it was pretty ugly. Okay, so they're not flying into each other just yet. So we'll see how this goes. But like I said, the idea is just for radiators is to disperse heat. And you can see that I have a lot of heat dispersion going on, so that's pretty good. Is it a little bit too much? Yeah, maybe, but the radiator is cooling. We just have we have no ore, because this ship can carry a lot of ore. Remember, this is to actually uphold one for putting a space station around Duna. So we'll do that a little bit. It's actually this one. All I got to do is put it in station around Duna and put 1,000 units of ore in it. And that's what we're going to be launching next, is a mining craft that'll be able to land on Duna to rescue, refuel, and then a mining craft that'll be able to land on Ike, rescue, and refuel. So let's just go ahead and go back to the vehicle assembly building while this ship is happily in orbit. Well, here's the Duna refueler. I'm sure there's something that I'm missing here, but this is going to be probably a little over-engineered. Of course I'm missing something. I'm actually missing one of the most important parts, which is a small holding tank, which is going to be necessary because I do not have the larger holding tanks, as nice as those would be. Now we do have some center of mass down here. Actually, there's two things that I need. I need RCS, so I can do some basic controls of this. So, as fun as it would be to put the other RCS tank down there, maybe I don't need as big of a one. But that's where my little probe core is, so... Like I said, I just want something that's going to be a little more stable, so I guess we will put that on there. And then how much? This is 300 ore. This is already a pretty big ship, but if I put little ore canisters on here, that shouldn't block the solar panels very well. And then we can just put some more struts, and I think it's going to be okay. It's probably not the best ever. But my biggest thing is I just don't want to block the entrance or exit for Kerbal that's there. Obviously, it looks like crap from up here. But the idea is to be able to launch this, land it on Ike, refuel, come back. I'm going to have to make multiple trips to get ore to the space station so that I can get the right amount of science there. But you know what? That's kind of the goal. That's kind of the idea behind this ship. So let's go ahead and, since we have RCS fuel, let's put some thruster blocks right here. Square on the center of mass. Let's put some more thruster blocks over here. And probably a good idea to move these struts. If I can remember where they started. All right. Yeah, since there's a strut up top now, probably better if I just put another one like from the middle into over here. There we go. That should do okay. So, this is the second part of the Duna mission. Once again, this is unmanned. Once again, it is controlled by another thing. But the idea is that this is going to be able to go to the surface and pick up 2 people. And they should be able to go in there and be relieved from their mission. So I could send one spare crew member over there just to take on the Duna everything. And that may not be a terrible idea. But let's just go ahead and... we don't have any crew. I still have to do one rescue. Like I said, let's go ahead and put the sub-assembly on here from before, the over-engineered launch right there. All right, so nothing is clipping. We just have the floor being lava and everything, so raise this up really high. This is all going to be pretty expensive, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? It's over-engineered rockets and everything like that. Only 116 parts. This refueler is a little lighter, but I'm trying to learn the lessons that I learned from trying to launch to Gilly, where this little canister wasn't enough. You need some more things there. Fortunately, Ike a touch easier to get to. Landing and coming back from from Duna could be a challenge, but that's why we try it this way, right? We send an unmanned mission and we hope for the best. So let's go ahead and launch this one too. Just make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. This needs to be on the same stage. You all need to be on the same stage. And I actually do not have any parachutes. Huh! If I'm wanting to land this on Duna, I really should put some parachutes on here, shouldn't I? Well, let's put, let's see here, MK16 or MK16XL. Let's put some over here. Seems reasonable. We want some drogue chutes as well. Seems like a good spot for them. Want some more drogue chutes as well. This seems reasonable. There we go. And we want one more set of radial parachutes. So those will go right here. There we go. All the parachutes. And I'm going to keep these. We're going to stage them all together. Now they did change parachute functionality and when they open up in the most recent patch. So if we look at this, it's like 1,000 altitude now. And minimum pressure 0.4. So they've changed the parameters. No idea how this is going to work if I landed on Duna, but it would have worked much worse if I had forgotten to put parachutes on it. So let's launch this now. So we're going to do what we normally do here when we're trying to get a rescue mission in order. And we'll go ahead and turn on the alarm clock to see once again our Jool window is coming up before our Duna window comes here. And then we still have the other Duna behemoth trying to come back. But of course, we are running into a few problems with that mission, if only because we're going to wait until daytime to launch this. If only because I've had a lot of problems getting maneuver nodes to actually do what they're supposed to. Like actually, I want to make a mid-course correction, but I have not been able to. Okay, that's... we want this to go around one more time. Probably right around here is good enough. Not perfect, but good enough. Alright. But yeah, I've had a lot of problems getting maneuver nodes to actually start and stick with let's see here. I hope this is going to be okay. We're going to find out. It's unmanned. It's just money. I'm already getting my space center towards broke as is. But yeah, I've had problems with maneuver nodes lately, where they do not actually want to function or start. I can make maneuver nodes for after I go around the sun, but not prior. So it's a bit of an annoyance here. All right. So if we look at our fuel reserves here, note that this one does have liquid fuel, and I did not put a bunch of heat shields on the bottom. I thought about it with some of the docking ports that were available, but we're just going to try not to go into hypersonic speed this early. We are going to be shooting straight up and then turning right, just because of the way these canisters work. There's got to be a better way to do this. I probably just ought to go ahead and unlock the Sepatron, if only because that will actually rocket these big boosters away instead of just kind of detaching them and let them fall to the side. Plus it's more explosions, which is always fun. But I hadn't really used them previously, so that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, another nice thing that you may have read a little bit about is the 1.0.4 update. Did not really break mods very much at all. So like the mods that I'm using before work now. Okay, we are getting the slowdown now from the sonic speed effects. That's not great. We're going to be doing a late gravity turn here, so let's just go ahead and I guess I could just start it now. See what happens here. Surely nothing can go wrong. I mean, I do have the science to unlock the Sepatron if it comes to it, but these are really big fuel tanks. And normally when I drop things off like this, they run into the front and disaster happens. I don't want to be banking this hard. So let's see. Don't hold our breath here. It's very possible my ship's about to run into itself. And yes! That is what we call catastrophic failure, kiddos. That is what we call unmanned mission to who knows what. Alright, well, good news is that since this is not making it out into space, we can decouple. Whee! Oh, look at that. I guess it's all going to come crashing down into the Space Center in just a second. Let's find out. Some of y'all wonder if I do these things outright, but yeah, we are going to go a little bit up. I did do some of a gravity turn. And it looks like we're going to miss this orbital window for the rescuer, but we're going back down, down, down. See, what this really is just a landing test, right? Let's go ahead and put this stage down here. And let's go ahead and... Oh! Shoot destroyed by air forces and heat. We only have our drogue chutes available. Well, that's new. How many landing gears do we have? 3. How slow are we going? Still way too fast. Because we actually have some things that'll be a warning. Is this okay to open or not? So I guess I need to put those on separate stages now. Good that we tested, right? I still think this is going to hit the ground way too fast because these are just slow down chutes. They're not big old chutes. So there's some crashes, and 50 meters per second is way too much for this ship. And we have possibly a piece of debris going back into space like we had before. So let's put some Sepatrons on there as well. I think it's time to grow up. Alright, Space Center. So you have 500 some science available. The Sepatron one is right here. And let's see here. Small canister filled with what appears to be solid rocket fuel, though not much. The step forward in terms of raw power, the scientists have slowly warmed up to Sepatron's many uses, such as pushing things away for best use angle. Let's try it. Alright. Alright, so we'll see how these work. I'm hoping they work okay. So we got... Which ones do we have going? We have these... Okay, those are the Separatrons we want for this one. As weird as it is that these are not going on appropriately. That's really annoying. So I want to put one over here too. And see, we got double up here now. So dumb. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So these 8 Separatrons will be going off when this explodes off the side. Hopefully that'll get those to separate enough. We're going to do the exact same thing here. Will these little rockets make a difference? Maybe. So 2, 4, 6. Like I said, they don't have to be perfect, but they got to be kind of lined up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh boy, those were not all supposed to go on that same. Alright. So you guys need to go here. You guys need to go here. You two need to go here. And you two need to go there. Alright, so these should be firing at this time. This should be firing at this time. We are bankrupting our space program in a hurry. But we want a good launch system, so we'll see if this works. Because I want to have something where I can gravity turn early and appropriately. Let's find out. Alright, we are hopefully ready to launch. We're certainly going to try and find out. Maybe I should have put some lights on this, and I was going to change around the parachute staging from before. There is a little indicator warning for, is it safe to parachute? It is safe. So we'll try that next time. Let's go ahead, however, and test the new Sepratron goodness. Maybe. Launch. Oh, that is a fast launch. So we are going to be doing the gravity turn at the right way, at the right time. This time we're going to hope that our mini explosions here will be enough to not have things casually drift into each other. So about 1,000 or so. And let's go ahead and start our baby gravity turn. I just want to angle it a little bit. The idea is not to have things crash and destroy your space center. I'm sure if this rocket crashed into it, it'd do a lot of damage. We've already fired enough nuclear rockets into the space center that we should be only a little concerned. Now technically we still are in a little bit of the supersphere, meaning that it is not the most efficient. It is still about equally efficient a way to do your gravity turn, but we're doing this anyway because this is a valuable test. While we do have missions that are kind of on their way back home, I think iterating and reiterating new launch systems are always pretty valuable exercises here. So let's just go ahead and see. We don't want to go too accelerate too much here, but we gotta get these engines going just a little bit. So we're going to see once again, will the Sepratron actually work? I hope it does. I hope we don't just have, we already are rocking and rolling right here too, so. Whoops! Now why did those fire that way? I must have really screwed something up. Well, the good news is that our ship did separate. Let's take it back to the vehicle assembly and see what we did wrong.